Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Papa Bale, and welcome to the channel. I'm just showing you 2.42 volts in. This is what we're working with at 2.5 volts. You can just imagine what we're getting right now. That's amazing. Let me break down the coils for you. Got a trifilar here with 18 gauge, 32 gauge for a drive and a trigger. Then there's a 20 gauge strand that's connected to this coil, which is 8 26 gauge strands at 333 turns, and two 32 gauge strands at the same rate, so 333. This has got to be 666, or it might be 900 something, because I think I did a 963 deal with the spread of the 18, 20, and 32. Anyway, moving on, we got 22,000 turns of 32 gauge in this big coil right here, and 18,000 turns of 32 gauge in this coil over here. And it has a soft iron core, so it's generating quite a bit. And that's our oscilloscope for 2.5 volts in. We have 150 volt peaks. So about in between 130 and 150 volt peaks. We're running it through a bridge rectifier, so yeah, about 888 at 2.5 volts. And that right there, we got about 2 amps, and if we put a resistor on it, I bet we come out with 1.2. If you don't come out with at least 1, you got too much resistance on it. You can put a resistor on this, and it'll come out with amps. Currently, I do not know how many amps we're putting in. I know it's not that many. I know it's not that many, but this doesn't have an amp reader. Just voltage. So like 2.5. Be right back. Alright, so we're currently generating 90 volts of DC electricity and 2 amps, 2 DC amps with these 4 coils, and we're working on 2.5 volts. Look at how fast that thing's going for 2.5, man. That's amazing. Alright, so I mean, I just kind of nailed it in like 2.5 minutes. And at 2.5 volts, we get very little shaking in the table. I'm going to turn off the power and we're going to run flywheel for a moment. So the power is now off and we're still generating 1.8 amps. So like if I connected and grounded this thing, but at the same time touching it, I would get a decent shock. For sure. I mean, it's not going to arc or anything, but it's going to zap me really strong. Oh man, it's got to be that core and the fact that there's like over 100,000 turns of copper on the generator side. Because there's only like let's say there's 666 turns in this coil. There's only 666 turns in the drive and the trigger. So that's all that there is in the drive. And then you go to the generator side and you got 666 right here. You got 8 times 333 and then 2 times 333 right here. So that's a lot. Let's just say it's like 3 or 4K in turns. No, it's like, but they're all in series. So yeah, it's like 333 8 times over. And then here we got 22,000 turns. And there, and just right here, we have 40,000 turns, 32 gauge. Oh, that's so strong. And I think it's a great idea. It's definitely more of a transformer due to the step up. But yeah, this is real, man. There's nothing fake about this. I wouldn't necessarily call it free. You got to put in a little bit of voltage to get that much voltage out. And I bet you the step up mathematics are spot on. So, I mean, like if you were going to set this up and do the math, it would add up to exactly what it shows on my meter. That's just what I'm thinking, you know, because I think that it's really simple in my mind. We're definitely stepping up because when generating, it's about how many turns. And when doing the drive, it's about like fewer turns as actually more forceful, more power. But sometimes power isn't the best way to go with the drive, and you want a slower, more potential acceleration. Because the short ones, you get up to speed really fast, and then you're there. And it's like it just happens so fast. Now I have 2 other coils that I want to hook up here. One of them is actually they're both Litzwire coils. One's 26 gauge. It ended up being a 30 filer. Or 24 filer. And then the other one is 20 gauge. And it ended up being, I think, a 12 filer. 12 strands. Anyway, the 20 gauge one is super duper powerful, and surprisingly it has a great deal of potential because it's not that big of a coil. It's 16 feet 12 times over. I think that's 180 feet. No, wait a minute, 3 something. I think what I really mean is that I have 180 feet in my 20 gauge coil. So yeah, I think it might be 12, something 11, 12. I don't think it's 11. I might have done something funky like that. Leave it up to me. All right. Well, anyway, I think this is awesome. This is an old school rotor. I've had this for a while. It's maglev. It's got 2 ceramic bearings. And it doesn't really even have to move that fast to generate that much electricity. It is powerful. It has 12 neodymium magnets that are 40 millimeters by 20 millimeters round. I had taped them in there so they're not going anywhere. It is a little off balance. This is, like I said, back in the day, and one of my first large prints. You can see how it's kind of choppy, just the print job. I had one of my first printers too. It was really interesting. The art, I love the art on this. It's oil paint. I think it looks really cool, especially when it's moving. Anyway, thank you very much. Peace out. Have a great night. Please subscribe. Bye now.